In this video, Sascha answers questions you sent him via Facebook or Instagram. If you haven't subscribed yet, Sascha would be very thankful if you did so. Thanks for watching. Are there any plans on doing a mixing or recording workshop?
Actually, we're talking about this at the moment, and I'm just checking out this facility really soon. And yeah, we are thinking about to offer this as like a really workshop, like workshop weekends or something like it. But also we were like thinking about doing something like this on the net. But yeah, we just started talking about it, and I think it's gonna happen in the near future. I mean, I did it already, basically here and there. I did it on like the Frankfurt music show, for example, and a couple of times, and I did it also in Detmold at the university 2 times. That was already a while ago, and it was fun doing it. And well, maybe now we do this seminars, and could be cool. Maybe I also invite some guests, and we have like maybe make like some sort of series out of it, something like it. We see, but something is in the pipeline. Because we are planning this, it would be really interesting for me, and once you're asking that, who would be interested in me doing that? I mean, if you write that in the comments and I see, wow, there's a lot of interest, I plan in a different way maybe. But because now I would just like really scale it down and see like what's happening, is somebody interested? But I mean, if I see there's some interest right away, I could maybe plan this in a different way, and it just makes sense and speed things up somehow.
What was the most difficult production you did?
There were quite some productions that were demanding. It's very hard to answer, but I mean, for sure, the first Rhapsody productions were kind of very demanding in a way, because we had to, I mean, the equipment was used to the last bit always. We did everything that is possible with this equipment, and we used a lot of time and going back and forth. I would say maybe the first Rhapsody album, that was maybe one of the most difficult, but also a good adventure in a way. I mean, I love these guys. It was really a great pleasure to know them because of this, and still in a very good contact. But it was quite demanding and used up a lot of our powers.
What's the best way to record vocals? Double or triple tracks?
I'm trying to not do this too much. I'm a big fan of just straight one vocal, one voice, because it does kill character, and it does kill a part of the performance, like with every doubling, because you destroy all the little details that make something intimate or make a certain character. But sometimes the character can be this type of sound, and then I'm using it. Sometimes I'm using it for doubling the chorus. So the chorus anyway has choirs, so it's the chorus is maybe not about a certain emotion, but I don't do this all the way like some people do that, but I don't really like to do this a lot. On some singers it totally makes sense. Some voices, particular voices, they just sound really so much better when they're doubled, but regularly I don't use it too much.
Why did you cut your hair?
What are you talking about?
Is Heaven's Gate coming back?
I don't know 100%, but it's not in the pipeline, not in the planning. But who knows what happens in 10 years, but then we're all very old, right? So not in the near future, that's for sure.
Was it hard to produce your own record?
Actually, it was much easier than I thought. I really had an easy time to let go. Everything was done very quick. It was just cool. I mean, especially when Adrienne was here, I had like somebody that could give me answers if it's good or not. She always said, it's cool. And then I said, let's just do it that way. It's cool, great. And it was very easy. It was not the hardest album for me to do.
How and when did you come across the Duesenberg guitars?
I think a friend of mine started playing them. That was a while ago, and he said like, you gotta check them out. And which I did, and he also had a contact to the guys there, and put me in contact as well. So it was love at first sight in a way, because I came from playing a Stratocaster many years I played Stratocaster, and then I switched over when we did the live shows with Avantasia, and I did like more recordings in the studio. I switched over to play more Les Pauls and stuff like this, which I also used here and there in the studio before. But for example, Heaven's Gate, the last years I only played my old Fender Strat from the beginning of the 70s, and I loved this guitar. I was missing some of this chunk or like this special thing that a Strat delivers. It's a very emotional guitar, and it's very percussive, and it has a very dynamic sound. I missed that a little bit on Les Pauls, but Les Pauls give you this fat, thick sound, and it's soaring, singing thing that you don't get with a Strat. And Duesenberg delivered both in a way, and has a big scale, which is the same scale as a Stratocaster. It's a little bit bigger, which is fine for me because I have kind of big hands. It's better for the tuning. I really think it's better for the tuning, the big scale, and at least for me. And I had a much easier time keeping these guitars in a good tune while playing them. And I love this in-between sound in a way. So I can play singing solos, but it still delivers this total dynamic, which I love. And it's like shiny and has everything that I need from a guitar, especially for live, because it's like a little bit of an all-rounder also. I love this. And yeah, this is the way I found it. Just tried one and I loved it.
What is the job of a producer?
It totally varies. Producing means you have an impact on the song, you have an input on the song, or maybe not necessarily on the song, but on the performance. You have an artistical input to the production in any kind. It really depends on the project or on the band or what you're doing, because you could also produce, maybe artistically produce a live show in a way, just the way you mix it, or everything that has an artistical input can be considered producing. And I'm doing a lot of variety in the producing field. I do everything alone. I arrange everything alone, play even stuff alone, like songs alone, to I'm just sitting there and giving advices in the performance. Sometimes I'm also with the band in the rehearsal room, so we rehearse together. I have a guitar, so I'm become a part of it. So I have a much easier time to actually get involved into the thing, like give a personal touch to it, because I personally can feel it. So there's a lot of different aspects in producing. It would take an hour if I really talk about every aspect that I would consider producing in my work that I'm doing.
Could you give us any tips on how to improve on guitar?
That's a very hard question to answer, but if you have any tips from me, maybe it would be good. It really depends. What is a skill or what is not a skill? What do you want to improve? Some people have difficulties in certain areas. Some people, what music are you doing? It's really hard to answer. I would have to say one thing is for sure: play a lot, and don't play alone all the time. Play with people, or at least with a metronome, because rhythm is a very important thing, at least to me. A lot of people have a big lack of rhythm, or of timing, and this is something super substantial in music that a lot of people forget, that they try to rehearse to play very fast and quick and this and that. But the most important thing is, first of all, know what time you're in and move in that secure. And that is already and do also variations in timing. And when you play solos and stuff like this, no? It's not all about playing as fast as possible. Not for me. This because a big part of the musical expression comes from timing. And also important to work on your tone. Just take care of your tone and of the intonation and stuff like this. And this is the basic for the playing. And then you can try to play fast on top if you want. But it's not needed necessarily, because you can be expressive also without super fast playing. But it's a matter of, it is actually a matter of style and a matter of taste. But this is how I would approach it. But to have certain special tips, it's such a big field. Play a lot, rehearse a lot, play with people. Don't try to be the fastest in the world. There are already a lot of players. You cannot overtake them anymore. And it's not the most important thing to be musically expressive. And that is important. Be expressive. Tell a story. Yeah, and that's the most important, I think.
How do you manage your time between touring and being a producer? No sleep?
I do sleep. I sleep a little bit more than I used to sleep, to be honest, because I was working so much in the last 25 years, but I try to slow it down a little bit, which is still a lot for some people. But I have a much better working schedule now, which allows me to have a little bit of free time on top. I do weekends off and stuff like this. I didn't do that in the past. I try to have a little bit more of a normal life now. And for example, after this tour, I just came back home from the Avantasia World Tour, and I came back on Tuesday evening. Now it's Friday, and I did not unpack my computer stuff yet, but I will tonight maybe. And because I had just other things to do, like private stuff, I just didn't want to start. But now it's time to start, maybe tomorrow. And back in the day, I would have just come home, put the stuff up, and I gotta work. I gotta take back the time that I lost now on tour for producing. And I've tried to take it a little bit more relaxed now. And so I don't have a hard time managing it, because I just do what I can. And if it's super extreme too much, I just don't do it anymore. Thanks for all the questions. The thing is, a lot of thanks for all the questions. Yeah, thanks a lot for all the questions. And always interesting for me to talk about stuff that I don't think about too much sometimes in my normal life, but suddenly you start thinking about it because of the questions, and yeah, it's also interesting for me. Outro.